Hello friends! Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to Morning Tea with CJ. And I made a song for today. Hopefully I can play it okay. Okay, here goes. Morning tea with CJ, morning tea with me. Let's browse the web and see what's new. Yeah, you and me. Oh, morning tea with CJ, morning tea with me. Let's browse the web and see what's new. Yeah, you and me. That was decent. Welcome to Morning Tea. As mentioned in the intro song, the show where I browse the web and see what's new. If you're new to the show, you can check out my GitHub repo. It's github.com/codinggarden/morning-tea. And I post the links and the code that I write every time I do the show. So check that out. We have some some mascots on the show today. So if you didn't see my video, I did get a new betta fish. Where's he hiding? I got him this new, it's like a Squidward home. He's been hanging out in there a lot. Oh, there he is. Doesn't have a name yet. I think I might name him today. And you can also see, well, kind of. I totally didn't realize that a green plant would be very hard to see with my green backdrop. But this is Charlie. He is a bamboo plant. And then I have another friend that you can't see. I'm dog sitting for a friend, and Gatsby's just sleeping right there. So, hello, Cassandra. Welcome to the stream. And also, I think Mr. Unknown, you're out there. Hello, Mr. Unknown. Welcome to the stream. Let me just fix my green screen real quick. Yeah, there's some weird things going on with the screen. Could I show you the doggo? Probably not without picking him up. I don't know if you'd like. I'll show you the doggo. Gatsby. Gatsby. Say hi to the internet. I don't know if you like that. Okay. Yeah, let's get started. If you're watching live, say hello in the chat. Let me know what you're drinking. And also let me know if Mr. Fishy is what he will be known as for right now. Let me know if he gets in the way, but he's just going to be hanging out in the corner while we're doing this. Right there. Cool. All right. First up, r/JavaScript. Let's do a refresh, make sure we have the latest news. Yeah, and honestly, let me adjust my green screen real quick. There's some like weird artifacting stuff happening. Emmy, welcome to the stream. Crop. There's that, but then there's that. Okay, I think that's a little better. I will stop messing with it and just get on with the show. Amal, welcome to the stream. Drinking some Earl Grey tea. Very nice. Very nice. All right. A serverless comment engine built with JavaScript on top of AWS Lambda. Let's check it out. Submitted 2 hours ago. Alternative comment service to Discuss. Yeah. So if you haven't heard of Discuss, it's basically a way to embed a commenting system on your website. And you often see it working with like Medium blogs or even like WordPress sites because as long as you have a Discuss account, you can add comments anywhere where there's like a Discuss plugin on there. You've probably seen comments like this before. But apparently this person made a dead simple version of it called Yo-Yo. Cool. Place the following code where you'd like Yo-Yo to load and deploy it on your own AWS server. That's pretty cool. It's like brand new. There are 300 commits, but looks like it was just shared. Let's check out the comments. Serverless. Serverless, if you haven't heard of it, it is like a buzzword. There's technically still a server, but the idea is that the server literally spins up for a few seconds when a request is coming in and then goes back down. And then each request is just a simple little container spinning up with, like, think of it as like one request handler inside of an Express app. It's still a server. Are we still doing this? I think we all know by now that serverless doesn't actually mean serverless. Cool. Oh, and that's the only comment. It seems pretty interesting. It looks like it is in Chinese, but the docs here are in English. It looks like it might be easy enough to get set up. We can see it showcased. This one? Okay, I don't read Chinese. I'm guessing, like, if you look at a specific blog post, then maybe you can see the comments down below. Not sure. Seems interesting. Cool. Yeah, and Amal is saying the Vimterial Dark looks interesting. So a dark Vim color screen. Julian, welcome to the stream. Also Sanjay, welcome. I think near the end of the stream or later, I'm gonna go back and review the comments for what I should name the fishy. Maybe I'll decide on stream. Don't know. I got some really interesting suggestions. Let me just show it real quick if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. So I did get the fish. Where is he? He's hiding. He's maybe up there. But I posted a video where you can add a comment or vote on existing comments to help me name him. And I think right now Dash is in the lead, like literally the character Dash, with 3 votes. Fishy has 2 votes. Sushi has 2 votes. Lord Ethelbert Edward Snickerdoodle VI has 1 vote. I thought this was clever. Comment. Almost like comment, but he's like a comment. I don't know. Lots of really interesting suggestions. But yeah, I think towards the end of the stream I might decide. Okay, a dark Vim color scheme inspired by material design, improved for web development. So I personally don't use Vim, but let's check it out. Based on material theme darker. The most epic theme for Sublime Text. Interesting. So is it like for the Vim plugin for Sublime Text? Yep. So if you're familiar with Vim, there are a few different ways to install like packages and plugins. Vundle is one of them. And so you add that plugin to your vimrc. That looks really nice. This is running inside of a terminal, right? I mean, this is honestly like one of the main reasons I don't like using Vim is, for one, it requires a lot of configuration, and for the most part, at least from what I've seen, it just doesn't provide the same editing experience that something like Atom or VS Code does. I know you can get those things. I know you can get autocomplete, you can get auto suggestions, but you can't see my screen. Sorry. There we go. But it requires a lot of configuration to get autocomplete and auto suggestions and things like that. But this is running inside of a terminal. It looks great. Yeah, that looks awesome. Cool. Might I try out Vim today? I don't know. I don't know how easy it would be to get set up with this thing. But maybe I try that at the end of the stream. That'd be interesting. Cool. Ooh, yeah, I saw this on Twitter. VS Code can now automatically update import paths when you move or rename a TypeScript or a JavaScript file. If you come from the C# world, Visual Studio has been able to do this forever, like with C# files. But yeah, let's see. Can I zoom in on this? It's pixelated. Let's grab this image so we can see it real big. Okay, so like you have a file, you move it to another folder, and then VS Code is like, hey, do you want to update your imports? And then boom, the imports update. Want to update your imports? Yes, always. And then if you rename a file, that will also trigger you to update your imports. Cool. It's nothing revolutionary. Like people have been able to do this like with Java and C# and any like statically typed language for a pretty long time. But to do that, to be able to do that with JavaScript and TypeScript is pretty sweet. Cool. Yes, that's awesome. Oh, and before I forget, I should be adding these links to the show notes because I always forget. May 27th, 2018. We clicked on this one. A serverless comment engine. And then also this one. Cool. Yeah, this does say insider build, so I don't know if it's built into VS Code just yet, but it's pretty sweet. Like that. Cool. Cool. So Sanjay has a suggestion in the chat. Thinking about which algorithms are used in querying data in SQL databases, or how to query data, like also in MySQL. So I'm guessing the question is like under the hood, like how is the database engine actually working to query for your data? That would be interesting to explore. I'm sure every database engine does it differently. It would be fun to explore like sorting and searching algorithms on this stream, which are kind of like a computer science topic, which I'm guessing it might be using something like that under the hood. But yeah, that would be a very interesting topic to talk about. Question, what are some good courses for JavaScript? This is a self-post. I am new to JavaScript and looking for a course on it. This guy is a great teacher. Check his free videos and buy a course from Udemy. Programming with Mosh. Yeah, I've seen his YouTube channel before. Yeah, he has a ton of like quality, like very well edited and nice animations and slides and stuff like that for all kinds of different topics. JavaScript Foundations on Frontend Master. I would not suggest this for beginners. So it does say Deep JavaScript Foundations, but he'll spend like 30 minutes talking about primitive types, in an hour talking about primitive types in depth. This is really after you already kind of like know the language and you really want to understand it. I would not recommend this for beginners, but if you do want to deeper your understanding in JavaScript, this is an awesome course. I've watched probably like half of it. But a lot of the topics that he covers are topics that are in his You Don't Know JS book, which I've talked about a lot on this stream. This is a great but very opinionated and more technical than practical. Yeah. Cool. If no one recommends Gordon Zhu, I will recommend it. So there's a suggestion for. Sorry for all the scrolling. Mention free code camp is awesome. If you haven't heard of free code camp, it's a full curriculum for learning full stack development, and part of some of the projects you build are actually for nonprofit organizations. So it's a really great way to learn to code, and they have a pretty cool online way of learning. And then I've talked about this on the stream before too, but JavaScript 30 by Wes Boss, 30 different projects to just practice writing JavaScript. This isn't necessary for learning, but it's about like flexing your muscle and like using what you already know with JavaScript to practice different things. So that's a really great one. They're mentioning, yeah, You Don't Know JS. That's the book series by Kyle Simpson, the guy that we were just looking at. JavaScript.info. I think we saw this on the stream before. This is really nicely broken down. Introduction to JavaScript, broken down into multiple parts. Lots of good info in there. This is the one. Yeah, this is by Gordon Zhu, Watch and Code. I think that's his name. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Yeah, Gordon Zhu. He teaches you JavaScript. He teaches you programming. So this is like for total and complete beginners. But the free course is just walking you through building a to-do app of varying complexity. So you start with like very simple variables, and he actually teaches you while like coding inside of the Chrome console. So it's like very accessible. I highly recommend, like if you're just getting into programming or just getting into JavaScript, this is a really good one. Sanjay is saying Derek Banas is best. Never heard of him. Let's see. Derek Banas. Oh, cool. Cool. So it looks like his most recent videos are all like C++, but let's see. Blender, how to make a Zelda video game, how to make a Pac-Man clone. Yeah, that's really fun. That's awesome. King of New York board game? Is he playing it? So I have King of Tokyo. I've played King of New York before. You might not know this, but I am actually like really into board games. Oh, he's just playing he's playing the game live on stream. That's awesome. I should do that sometime. Yeah, so check him out. But yeah, if you're totally new to programming, check out this Practical JavaScript. It's fantastic. And I'm not going to add a comment because I will upvote this comment. Boom, upvote. All right, let's click like one more link in r/JavaScript and then we'll move on to web dev. Is array.prototype includes constant speed or is it a loop? I would say it's a loop because if you, it has to be a loop because includes takes in a function that does a check and you have to literally look at every element to check it to see if it matches that check. This is my break timer. Let's take a quick stretch. Take a sip of your beverage. I really wish I could show you Gatsby. He's chill, super chill. Message from Robin. Let me read it real quick. Hello, sir. I found your channel via the Coding Train. Coding Train is awesome. That's, I guess, I can't believe I didn't mention Coding Train. But Dan Schiffman from Coding Train has a ton of introductory videos on programming as well. You can check out his playlists. He does live streams all the time. But he has Intro to Programming with Processing, which I think is really good for getting into programming because it's very visual. Like you see what you're coding. But yeah, check him out too. And saw like 6 of my live streams and started doing Code Wars katas and join your clan. Awesome. And that's a great shout out too. So every Wednesday I do a, let's go to my channel. I do a Code Wars katas stream where I just stream myself solving Code Wars katas. I think I've done 6 of them so far. Each episode I'll probably do like probably 5 or 6 katas. And yeah, I solve them live. I solve them in maybe 2, 3, 4 different ways. And this last episode, I just started posting what I was going to do beforehand so you could give it a try too. So awesome. Robin, welcome to the stream. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, and Julian's mentioned Nux.js. It's on the list. I definitely want to do it. Definitely. All right. We're getting a little sidetracked, but that's okay. We're having a good time. Sunday morning or Sunday evening or Monday morning, depending on where you are in the world. Let's look at this one. Array.prototype includes constant speed, or early Monday morning if you're somewhere else in the world. I don't know. Meaning, is it constant lookup time or is it iterating through the array to find if the value exists? So something that is constant lookup time is like just picking an index out of an array. Because of the way computer memory is organized, you can basically say, I want this element in the array, so you can do basic math to figure out, okay, we need to go this much to grab that element. But if you're not familiar with array prototype includes, oh, okay, I was thinking of find, but I think it still has to do with some iteration because there's no other way to tell if something is in the array. You have to do some iteration. Yes. So yeah, let's see the answers. According to the spec, it is iterating through the array, starting from the first element, iterating over every index of the array, including empty elements in the case of sparse arrays, and proceeding to the last. Not surprisingly, there are best case conditions. So like, let's say the element you're searching for is the first one in the array. Boom, that's almost like constant time because literally the first check it does, it finds your element. And then the worst case is if it's not in the array at all because it had to iterate the entire array. How you imagine it to be constant speed? I don't see how it's possible. Yeah, I mean, technically, like if you indexed an array by its values, then it could be constant speed. Like we could create an object where the properties of the object are the values and the values of the object are the indices. That would be constant time lookup if the values inside of the array were a like a primitive type, like something that you could use as a JavaScript key. Very interesting. Yeah, and this person is saying, easy to test, try it for an array of length 100 versus an array of length 10,000. Oh, and then someone's commenting, micro benchmarking with optimizing compilers like V8 is not easy. Because yeah, when your JavaScript code runs, it is going to run through some optimizations. So it may actually perform better than in other worst case where the optimizations can't happen. I don't know. Super interesting topic, super interesting thing to think about. And if you didn't know array prototype includes exists, you should try it out. You basically pass it a value and it'll say, give back true or false whether or not that element is in the array. So let's check it out. Cool. Oh yeah, and someone mentioned it was answered in the chat, but like, what are Code Wars code katas? It's a really great site. Just check out codewars.com. You can sign up. I think you can log in with GitHub. I'll log in real quick. Are you gonna make me log in? Please don't make me log in. Okay, cool. But you can go under katas. So a kata is a word for like a simple repetitive training. I think it comes from the world of martial arts. That may or may not be correct. I don't know, that's something along those lines. But there's just lots of different coding challenges and coding problems that you can just practice coding with. Emmy is saying that is a pretty fish, isn't he? Let's just take a second to admire him. He's just chilling at the top right now. Probably towards the end of the stream, I'm gonna feed him so you can see him be a little bit more active. But that's his lunchtime is around 11:30. Okay. And Amal is saying he believes the ECMAScript spec gives a rundown on that algorithm and behavior. Yeah, so whether or not, well, how includes is actually implemented would be talked about in the ECMAScript specification, because that tells browsers how they should actually code their JavaScript engine. Okay. Let's move on to r/webdev here. Show off Saturday, I made an ES6 cheat sheet. Let's check it out. Hey all, I've been brushing up on my ES6 skills lately and decided to make a little cheat sheet to reference back to. Just thought others might find it useful too. Plus, was an excuse to get familiar with Gatsby.js and Bulma. Feel free to contribute. ES6, all the things. Ooh, nice little website with like a menu on the side. How to use const. It is block scope, cannot be reassigned, and is not immutable? Wait. Is immutable. Not mutable. I wonder if he has a GitHub. I'll make a pull request. Right? That makes sense though. Cannot be reassigned, and it is not mutable. Not because if it was not immutable, then that would mean it was mutable, and you can't mutate something that's in a const variable. Unless it's a reference type like an object or an array. Block scope can be reassigned. Arrow functions. Cool. I'm curious though, do they show, yeah, so I wonder if you can contribute to this, because I would like to show all the different ways to write an arrow function, because he's showing one-liners, but if your arrow function doesn't return on a single line, then you actually do multiple lines. He's showing it here, if your arrow function only takes in one parameter, you don't need parentheses. If it takes in multiple, you do. If it takes in none, you do. I think that could be fleshed out a little bit. Default function arguments are awesome if you haven't used them yet. Basically, you can say, if b was not passed in, it will be the value 1. Template literals, tag template literals. Yeah, this is cool. I like the design of the site too. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm all saying check out es6katas.org. Learn ES6 by coding it. You know what? I came across this resource when I was, because I do want to make some videos on like basics of ES6 features. But yeah, they have lots of exercises for practicing these things. Like let's say, is destructuring on here? There we go. We'll do destructuring objects. So, and where do I write my code? So these are the tests. And then if I click one, a template string is wrapped in back. Oh, do I actually like edit my code inside of the tests, or is there a separate place to run the code? Let's just try it real quick. Just surrounded by backticks. So the string is that like a string. Run tests. Passing. Okay, yeah, so you edit your test kind of like inline. Can evaluate variables. Wait, am I looking at destructuring? Okay, I guess it gets to it. These are just like warm-ups. Okay, can evaluate variables which are wrapped in template literal syntax. So that's not what we want. We want this to be that. Run the tests. Passing. Cool. So yeah, it's a really great resource because you see all the different ways. Wait, where are we? Here. All the different new features in ES6, and they have test-driven exercises where you can practice using them. So it's pretty sweet. Maybe at the end of the stream, we'll go through like a bunch of those. That might be fun too. RV, bless you. Bless you too. Oh, I see, because I sneezed earlier. Appreciate that. There's a bit of a delay in the chat. Flexiboxes, a CSS Flexbox playground. Oh, cool. This seems like it might actually be like Flexbox Froggy. Oh, but no, it's not a game. You're just literally messing around with the elements to see how they react. Yeah, so if we change flex direction to column, boom, up and down. Row, and we can add more flex items. Yeah, so this is really cool because you can basically mess around with the different flex properties and see how it reacts. Because right now, flex wrap is wrap, but if I say no wrap, it will actually start going off of the container. Wrap reverse, flips it. Whoa, that's weird. I'm not totally familiar with Flexbox, but that's an interesting behavior. But yeah, this is great. You can play around with the Flexbox items. So like justify, okay, let's remove some items. And then we'll do like justify content center. Justify content when you're doing flex direction row is horizontal, and then align items is vertical when you're doing that. But if we change this to column, different things happen. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. Don't want to link to that one. Let's link this here. And don't forget to link this too. And I'll link to the ES6 katas in extras. This is the title for that one. And this is the title for that one. There we go. I built a PWA and I published it in 3 app stores. Here's what I learned. Very interesting. So PWA is a progressive web app. And actually, did I link to... I linked to the comments. That should be okay. Yeah, but progressive web app, basically a web page that progressively gets better based on the features that are available inside of the browser that it's running on. So if there's slow internet connectivity, it might do some caching or something like that. Yeah, so I did link to the Flexbox tool. I'll throw it in the chat too, just gonna play around with it. It seems like really sweet. Whoa, that's super interesting. The query string includes all of the, I'm just gonna send the URL, but the query string included how it actually laid it out. That's what all this stuff is. Like, what are the children elements and what are the properties of it? That URL was too long to send, though. Okay. Built a PWA, published it in 3 app stores. Here's what I learned. Turning a web app into a progressive web app and submitting it to 3 app stores requires about a month of work, a few $100s, and lots of red tape. I recently published Shava Messianic Radio, a Pandoric-like music player, as a progressive web app. Okay, they've said that like 3 times now. Why? First, you wonder, why even put your app in the app stores? Just live on the open web. The answer in a nutshell is because that's where the users are. Yeah. I'm very much a fan of like web apps and putting apps on the web, but like everyone's glued to their phone, and like people that aren't super tech savvy, they just know the app store. Like and also like it's a nicer user experience to like click the, not nicer, it's a more convenient, it's what people are used to like click an icon to launch the app rather than like opening the browser, typing in a URL. You can add bookmarks. I don't know. For the average user, the app store seems to be the way that they actually get access to apps and things like that. And I mentioned in the chat, Sanjay is requesting potentially a video on regular expressions and how it matches, and is it the same for all programming languages? Yeah. So interesting thing about regular expressions is they are essentially a language inside of a language. They're going to have a different engine or different implementation for every language, but there is a like regular expression syntax that for the most part is the same across all languages. So how each language chooses to implement their internal regular expression engine, that may vary. But yeah, I'd like to do like a whole deep dive on just on regular expressions in general. Okay, back to the article we were talking at. For my web app, there were 2 big reasons to get in the App Store: user demand and web app restrictions by hostile mobile platforms. User demand. My users have been asking me for years, is there an app for Shava? I don't see it in the store. They ask that because we've trained users to look for apps in proprietary app stores. We absolutely have. Okay. What? Yeah, so to get into iOS store, you do have to pay $99 a year. Barriers to entry. In the ideal world, publishing your web app would look like this. You publish to these stores. Yeah, Microsoft is free. Google has a one-time $25 fee to list your app in the Google Play Store. That's new. It used to be that anyone could post an app, but probably to get rid of the spam and because there are a lot of, and also like there were like clone or mimic apps. They would have an icon and a name that looked like a legit app, and then people would install those things instead. So now they're charging to actually put an app on the store. And then Microsoft is free because they're not as popular and they need more apps. Cool. Yeah, and Thursday in the chat is saying, or they do it in the phone browser and it's generally a terrible user experience. Like, yeah. Because before progressive web apps were a term, there were features of the browser that allowed you to do things like caching, having like a home screen icon, going like full browser window. There's a thing called the cache manifest, which is now deprecated in favor of like service workers. But I've built a couple of apps that used that, and it really wasn't the best experience. Yeah, so like you specify a manifest that says like these are the files that should be cached, and then you could also have it might have been like a meta tag or something that says what the icon could be, and then if someone added it to their home screen, it would show that icon instead, but it's really not the best experience. Yeah, and Thursday in the chat is mentioning always asking if things are okay to download. Yeah, like if you, especially if you get like a spammy app, you're gonna see like ads and like because it's not a native app, it has to use the browser features of like asking for permissions for a lot of things, which technically when you install a native app, you do give it those permissions to begin with. But I don't know, it's not there yet. It's not the same experience. I wish it was, because like the web is the like the biggest and like most convenient application distribution platform ever invented. Like it's really easy to get a website up and then just give someone a link, but it's not as seamless as if you were to get your app to be hosted in a store. Okay, what is this getting at? So adding native capabilities, that is going to be a thing. My web app needs to play audio in the background and load URLs from my CDN. Sounds reasonable, right? And bonus, how about showing currently playing song info on the lock screen? These things are, I don't think there are native browser features that would allow you to do that. You would probably need to use like Cordova or something like that, which is a bridge between an app running in a mobile web browser and the native device itself. You can get access to the camera and push notifications and different native features like that. Yeah, so Apple doesn't give a way to declare such capabilities, but Google are creating web standards for actually showing like a media screen on the home screen from a web page instead of an app or something like that. Oh, and then Microsoft injects a global API so that you can use that to do what you want to do with a Microsoft app. Super interesting. Okay, I've been talking about this a long time. It seems like a really interesting resource, kind of like talking about their experience. And if you were to try and make your PWA a app that is distributed across multiple platforms, check out this resource. Okay, moving right along. Cool. Yeah, in the chat, Sanjay is saying, have you tried Electron? You can make a desktop app using JavaScript. I did a quick Electron challenge a while back. I want to do a more like introductory video. That video was kind of like me figuring things out in a way. Yeah, so I built it's about an hour and a half, but I'll show you what I built. Let's go here. Up one directory. I think I called it desktop presenter. Yes, this. So the idea is you can move your mouse around the screen and like highlight a specific section, and mainly so that like when I'm talking about code, I can enable this and then like highlight specific sections. And then I have a keyboard shortcut to hide and show it. There it is. So I could be about my business, talking about my code, and like, oh, check this out. So I used Electron to do this. It's basically a full screen, always on top window that is transparent, and then I'm using a canvas, and wherever your mouse is, I'm using like a canvas operation to actually cut out an ellipse rather than drawing everything but the ellipse. So it does like a cutout, and then I have like a blur on it so you can see that. But I do actually want to do an Electron app on Newbie Tuesdays. Me and Tony are thinking about building like maybe like an emoji search app or something like that. Like you could, so Macs have built in that emoji menu, but it would be cool to make a cross-platform emoji menu. I think one like it out there exists, but it would be fun to try and create our own. Okay. Yeah, this is super interesting. So I have been getting tons of emails. So I'm based in the USA, but the EU did release, not release, they enacted new laws that made it so that websites that are operating in the EU have to have they have to be opt-in for data tracking rather than automatic data tracking. And so I've gotten tons of emails from like all these sites I'm a member of where they're saying we're updating our policy to adhere to the GDPR. But this was an interesting note. So in order for instead of USA Today like actually doing anything about it, if they detect that you're visiting the site from an EU country, they just literally disable all ads and tracking. and that results in a site that was close to 6 megabytes is now only 300 kilobytes. So the web we live in today is like full of trackers and ads, and it's pretty crazy what some sites will do. So the red line is the US and the blue line is the EU. And even just looking at page load time. So in 2 seconds, the page is done loading without trackers and ads, and it takes 11 seconds for the page to fully load with trackers and ads enabled. Cool. Sanjay is asking what happens when I watch live video while streaming. It will actually work. I think I have the sound muted, but I'm using a capture card for my computer, so it actually, let me make sure. The video actually plays pretty nicely, so there's no like frame rate cutting or anything like that. Oh, actually, I've always wanted to do this. Check it out. Let's go to like this live stream. Hey, look, me and Coding Train are live together. Cool. Not that. Okay, let's move on to r/programming, and then I'll figure out something to implement. I might do this Vim thing. It might actually be interesting to get set up because I will need to install Vim. Set up Bundle, install this plugin. I don't know if I'll do that because that seems like a bit much for one thing. Okay, this is r/programming. ICANN files legal action in Germany to preserve Whois data under the GDPR. So, if you're not familiar, Whois is basically like a registry of all domains and who their owners are and contact information. But under GDPR, I'm guessing maybe they can't publish that information anymore. So they're taking legal action to say that we need to be able to do this in the EU. It's a big, long article. So I will admit, I'm probably slightly allergic to the dog that I'm watching. It's okay, though. It's for the good of the animal. I ran out of allergy medicine yesterday. He's still just chilling down there. Yeah, let's look at the comments. Maybe there's like a TLDR. If GDPR cuts down on harassments originating from trolls that just looked up in the Whois database, trolls that just looked up in the Whois database, then I'm all for it. Yeah, I guess that's the other thing. Like, so when you register a domain, you can do Whois privacy, where your real name and address actually aren't on the registration. It's just a proxy, like whatever company that you're signing up with can put like their name and their address, and if someone wants to contact you, then they have to go through them. But because your information is out there, people can just literally like scrape the Whois database and like start trying to spam and contact people. It already has for some TLDs. For example, .no removed the information about the holder from their Whois servers. Yeah, and I think .no is it Norway? Norway, yeah. That's a cool domain name. I should get something that's .no. You probably don't know this about me, but I like domains. Let me show you some of the domains that I've bought. There's avocado.fun. There we go. So you go to the site and it has an avocado spinning, but you can also go turn on not safe for work mode, hide your children's eyes, and then that happens. But yeah, I randomly bought this domain and made that one morning. What else do I have? Yeah, like other various ones. I don't know, like even my Coding Garden website is like a bit of a, not a domain hack because like Garden is a new TLD, but I like domain names. I think I own like coder.casa and javascript.casa. I haven't done anything with them, but domains are fun. Yeah, and I think Amal said one does not simply install Vim on a live stream. Maybe it could be done. I don't know. Amal saying check out techter.com for more technical and legal analysis on technology. They have a whole section on GDPR. Definitely. Don't know if I have enough time to get into it, but let's just check out what that is. Techdirt.com. Cool. The GDPR, ghastly, dumb, paralyzing regulation. It's hard to celebrate. And yeah, they have a section on net neutrality, free speech. Interesting. Let's see. Misleading article title. ICANN wants to ensure that all data is still collected so that it can be made available to law enforcement. It sounds like it would still not be available to the public. Oh, that's interesting. Cool. Like I said, I use a Whois privacy service, so I don't exactly care that much about it, but for those people that don't, and I wonder if maybe in other countries it's not legal to use a Whois service whenever you're registering a domain. Yeah. Okay. Let's click like one or two more links and then either try to install Vim or do some ES6 katas. I honestly think like it could take me like 30 to 45 minutes, but it might be fun to do. I don't know. All the viewers might drop off, but it'd be interesting. Fun to watch. Let's take a quick stretch. Oracle calls Java serialization a horrible mistake and plans to dump it. Let's see what this is about. A horrible mistake from 1997. The Java object serialization capability for encoding object has serious security issues. Let's check it out. Oracle plans to drop that feature, which has been a thorn in its side when it comes to security. Also known as Java object serialization. So, I'm not totally familiar with this, but the main idea of serialization being, I have an instance of a Java class, and I want to turn that into a JSON document or an XML document. Serialization is the process of like examining that instance of a class and creating its equivalent in JSON or an XML or something like that, which is something you need to do when you're building web APIs because you get things back from a database or from other requests as like a statically typed instance of an object, and you need to convert that into JSON so you can send it back to the client. Cool. It has been a long time goal, part of Project Ember, which is focused on productivity-oriented Java language features. To replace the current serialization technology, a small serialization framework would be placed in the platform once records. The Java version of data classes are supported. Interesting. So it's basically going to be, because I think right now it's like in the core of the language, so it'll be ripped out and replaced with like a library you can bring in. The framework could support a graph of records, and developers could plug in a serialization engine of their choice, supporting formats such as JSON or XML, enabling serialization of records in a safe way. Cool. That's super interesting. So I come from a C# background, and there's a similar idea in C#, the idea of serializing data to JSON so that it can be, you can respond with it in an API or something like that. All right, let's click one more link. 30 years later, QBasic is still the best. Comparing the C FFI overhead in various programming languages. How digital cameras use cubic interpolation to demosaic raw sensor data. 50 years of BASIC, the programming language that made computers personal. Let's click this one. Seems nice enough. Okay. Yeah, and Amal is saying, yeah, so the whole like Snowden thing happened in the US, and now 5 years later, there's the GDPR happening in the EU. And it is interesting how US tech companies are reacting. Like, for one, like all the emails I'm getting from all these companies that are saying, we're updating our privacy policy. And again, like consumers might actually push for it. So recognizing that an entire collection of nations, like the whole EU, is doing it as like a government mandate, and now citizens of the US can realize, hey, we should try to push for this stuff too. Before I talk anymore, let's check out the fishy. He's hanging out in his home. Look at him. Earlier, like I thought he might be too big, but earlier he actually goes in through the eyes of the fish and like comes out, or of the home thingy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, 50 years of BASIC, the programming language that made computers personal. This is a Time article. Knowing how to program a computer is good for you, and it's a shame more people don't learn to do it. You know what? It might actually be fun to find like a BASIC interpreter online and just write some BASIC code. That might be fun. Let's see. And this was published April 29th. It's about a month old. So it was 50 years and 1 month ago. For years now, that's been a hugely popular stance that knowing how to program a computer is good for you, and it's a shame more people don't learn how to do it. I agree. Programming is not for everyone, but I think just having a basic understanding of like basic programming concepts and logic, it makes you a better problem solver in general, I would say. But you don't have to be a web developer or anything like that. It's good to know to learn like kind of how these things tick, how this thing ticks, you know? Don't just like go into everything blind, think everything's magic. Even President Obama has chimed in, and last December he issued a YouTube video in which he urged young people to take up programming, declaring that learning these skills isn't just important for your future, it's important for our country's future. I find that everybody should code, learn to code movement laudable, and yet it also leaves me wistful, even melancholy. Once upon a time, knowing how to use a computer was virtually synonymous with knowing how to program one, and it's so true. If you've ever seen or just even like looked into the history of personal computers and things like that, like the personal computer was started in the personal computer revolution were just like hobbyist hackers. Like you had to know about electronics, you had to know about programming to even be able to use one of these things. But really like Apple, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, they took it to something that was more like consumer ready. Like you just, here's the thing, you don't have to be a hobbyist or know anything about programming or electronics to be able to use it. Yeah. Interesting read. People are telling me that I should try out Vim. I think here's what I'll do. I'll feed the fish, and then I will try out Vim. I might even just find a tutorial online that tells me how to install it, because I think by default Macs do have. Oh, let me close this. Do I have Vim? I do have Vim, version 7.4. Oh no, I'm stuck in Vim. How do I get out? Escape. Command mode. Quit. Exclamation mark. I'm out of Vim. Cool. But I think this might be the Vim that is installed by default on a Mac. Yeah. So I think you can install Vim like the latest version using Brew, and then I can install Vundle. I think I'm gonna do it. Like, why not? That'll be fun. Yeah, and Amal has a good quote from Steve Jobs. Everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer because it teaches you how to think. Absolutely. Okay, I'll link to this article, and then let's try to get Vim and this plugin going. Cool. Is anyone in the chat actually use Vim? Okay, so let's make some goals for what I'm about to do with Vim. So for one, Vim. Okay, for one, I want to just install the latest version of Vim. I want to have basic syntax highlighting for JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This might be too much to ask. So I want that. And then I want to install this Vim Material Dark plugin. Well, which is a color scheme. So I mean, I think technically once I install this thing, it should work. We'll see. And I guess I will need Vundle, which is a way of installing plugins. Amal is a Vim guy. Cool. And Amal is saying, a good way to generate random characters is put a developer in Vim and ask them to exit. And honestly, I think it's one of the things that I don't like about Vim, because like you go in and okay, I'm writing, right? But how do I get out? Like, you have to actually know what the commands are to be able to interact with it, which I think that's what some people actually do like about it. Because once you have all your commands memorized and all your keyboard shortcuts and everything set up in the way you like it, you can be extremely efficient. Like, in a few keystrokes, you can select like 5 lines of text, or delete a single word, or to like do some regex replacements or something like that. But I don't know. I like the comfort of my editor. All right. Amal is saying use Vim plugin instead of Vundle. It is easier. Yeah, let's take a look at their specific documentation. It is saying they recommend Vundle though. I don't want to stray too far. Okay. I think that's my basic checklist. I want to install Vim, install Vundle, and then I think by installing Vim Material Dark, I'm going to get some basic syntax highlighting of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then how about this? Build a super basic website with just Vim. So like 3 files, and it says like hello world or something like that. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm going to feed the fish, and then I'll get it going. So Amal is saying they're compatible. Okay. I will trust you. I'm going to go with Vim plugin instead of Vundle. But here, let me add that to my notes. But let's feed the fishy. He looks hungry. Hey, buddy. Sometimes he'll follow my finger. There he goes. And RV is saying he's using NeoVim. Amal is asking about my dot files. I do have dot files. Let's watch the fish eat for a second. But it's github.com/w3cj/dot files, like spelled out. I haven't updated them in a while. I use Bash personally. I really just like this layout that you see with like each time I open a new terminal. Well, you can't see it right now. Let's wait for the fishy to eat. I thought for whatever reason, fishy likes to sleep like right behind the filter. Maybe because it's a little bit warmer back there. Okay, cool. back to my screen. I'll make him a little bit bigger. Actually, oh man, let's put it up there. No, I'll keep him in the bottom left. Yeah, but yeah. So this color scheme and like this layout that you see, this is defined in my dot files, and then I have quite a few different aliases. But yeah, it's w3cj/dot files. I'll share the link too. Like I said, I haven't updated these in a while, but I do have my bash profile. Yeah, see, I'm using version 8 of Node now instead of 7, and I use Node Version Manager to manage my Node versions. And I have some just like super basic rules in here. So for like one thing, have store like lots and lots of my history, and the other thing is to be able to do history search. So this is one thing that people really like about like Zish is you can start typing a command and then press up and you'll search through previous commands that started with that. But those two simple little lines will do that. So this actually searches in reverse through my history of any command that I wrote that started with the word git. Yeah, I have some colors for like when you're listing out the files in a directory based on file type. You'll notice that like each time I open a new, well, you can't see it. Here we go. Cool. Each time I open a new terminal, there's a new little emoji at the terminal. Yeah, there's a cactus, a dice, Space Invader. So I've got just some basic bash code that has an array of emojis and then chooses a random one each time a new terminal window pops open. And then this is the code that shows the quote with tux at the very beginning. This is my break timer. If you're new to the stream, let's take a quick stretch. Yeah, Sanja, you have a lot of good suggestions for upcoming videos. I think what I want to do. So actually, if you haven't yet, check out poll.coding.garden. You will log in with GitHub, but then you can suggest things or vote on existing ones. So I don't think I have anything in here on regular expressions, so definitely add that. Yeah, and then something on functional programming would be cool too. Yeah, so feel free to add these, and then people can vote on them as well. Lots of really good suggestions coming in as well. Okay, but yeah, so and then the other thing about my dot files, I have a ton of like interesting aliases. So like a beer emoji automatically does git checkout -b drunk. So like if you're coding and you want to check out a branch while you're drunk, some of those. And then I have some git aliases which I found from some article online that talked about nice aliases to have. So you see me do this a lot, like GAA or GCM or GSS. Those are just aliases for actual git commands, and they're all defined inside of my dot files. Okay, if you're just joining the stream, what I've decided is I'm going to try and install Vim and configure it with Vim plugin and this new syntax highlighting plugin that we just found called Vim Material Dark. If you know me, you know that I don't use Vim. I know the basic commands. I know how to quit Vim. So we're gonna do it. All right, I'm just gonna search the web. Brew install Vim and Vim plugin. So let's see if anybody has done a tutorial out there on installing Vim. Actually, let's look at Vim plugin because maybe they have something as well. And Vim plugin was suggested by Amal in the chat as a Vim plug. Is it Vim plug? Vim. There's Vim awesome. Clarify, Amal, did you mean Vim plug? Because this might be what you're talking about. A minimalist Vim plugin manager. Easier to use, single file, super fast. What am I getting myself into? Okay. I guess there's Mac Vim. Search Google real quick. Brew install Vim. I just want to get basic Vim installed, latest version through Brew. That should do it. Brew install Vim. Latest version is 8.1. Because you'll notice right now, whenever I run Vim, I'm dropped into version 7.4. So let's do it. Brew, and actually let me get out of these extra terminals. Okay, brew, install Vim. It is installed. I think it links automatically, but now if I type Vim, version 8.1, cool. So with Brew, we have installed the latest version of Vim. Making progress. Let's check a box. Yes. Thanks for the encouragement, Julian. Okay, so I have Vim. I'm not finding Vim plugin though. What is a Vim plugin? Vim plugin manager. Maybe somebody has talked about the various ones like Vundle or Vim plug. This is from 4 years ago, but use Vundle. There's also Pathogen, NeoBundle. Andreas just asked, is the fish named already? It is not. I think I was gonna name him at the end of the stream. I do want to consolidate. I want to get all of the names that got votes and give maybe some honorable mentions and then give them a name. But okay, I think I'm gonna go with Vim plug. This last updated 16 days ago. It has 11,000 stars. Let's figure it out. So installation, download plug.vim and put it in the auto load directory. Oh, okay. So save this as, we're gonna put it in. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can access that from the terminal. So I've copied the location. Let's get out of here. And then I should be able to go into my home directory. There should be a .vim there. Well, we'll make it if it doesn't exist. .vim. We'll go into .vim and we'll make an auto load directory. And then this command will download plug.vim into the auto load directory. Go. Okay. So inside of auto load, it's there. Okay, so we've installed it. Now how do we use it? Usage. Add a Vim plug section to your Vim RC. Begin the section with call plugin begin. So I do have a Vim RC, I think. All right, we're going to use Vim to edit my Vim RC. Okay, so some basic key mappings in here. So I goes into insert mode, and then I can insert a new line. Cool. So what I need to do is specify a directory for plugins. Do I need to create that directory? I don't know. So call begin plug, Vim plugged. Okay. And then I can put the name of a plugin that I want. And so the plugin that I do want is this. Lars B. Vim Material Dark. Do I need single quotes or double quotes? Single quotes. And so also I should be able to say plug that. Okay, and then I think I need to call end plug. Okay, let's get rid of this line. Okay, so start the plugins, use that Vim Material Dark plugin, and then call plugin end. Reload.vimrc and call plugin install to install plugins. Okay, so if I write quit, that wrote my vimrc, so now that has the plugins in it. So now if I go into Vim, and the command I run is plugin install. Whoa. It's done. Okay. So now let's quit. Let's quit out of there. And let's try to write some code with Vim. So let's make a directory. Basic Vim site. Okay. I probably want to plug in for like tree view and stuff like that. I see a lot of people doing that, but cool. Julian sings Frodo is a good name. Maybe. If you check out, oh, I don't have it linked anymore, but I did upload a video yesterday where you can add a comment and people can vote on it for potential names for the fish. Okay, so in this folder, I've got a basic directory. Let's create some files. So I need an index.html, and my streaming PC battery is running low. I'll be right back. Go. Okay, crisis averted. Okay, yeah, so let's create some basic files. We'll need our app.js, and we'll need our styles.css. Okay, now let's use Vim to edit index.html. All right, we need to go into insert mode. We'll then create our, well, okay, now I'm in insert mode. Okay, so I've got my, okay, that's some syntax highlighting. That's working. It's tabbing. Let's enhance, zoom in. Cool. So I need a head. I'm sure there's probably a like a Vim plugin that will do like auto closing of tags and stuff like that. Let's do a link. Ref is style sheet, and is that how it goes? I don't know how to do this from scratch. I always use the plugin to do this. I'll double check my work afterwards. And then we want to bring in styles.css. Oh, it's rel. Rel is style sheet, and then href is styles.css. And then we need a nice little body. And inside of there, we'll have an h1. We'll give this h1 an ID of title. And we'll have like a little paragraph tag with an ID of message. Okay, I think that should do it. So press escape to get out of insert mode, go in colon to go into command mode, and then I want to write and quit this file. Whoa, some weird aliasing happening. All right, let's check my work in VS Code. Hey now. All right, I'm gonna double check that I did this right. Yes, I did. Cool. All right, so we got our basic HTML. So now let's go in and edit our styles.css. All right, I want, well, am I in insert mode? I'm not in insert mode. Insert mode. Oh, I think that's what I was messing up. I is not a command. You press I to go into insert mode. Oh, and Amal is saying emit is available. Yeah, so the thing is, I'm so used to the autocompletes inside of VS Code and Atom that I don't really even use emit. But if you're not familiar with emit, I think it works by default in VS Code. You can do like div. Well, no, let's do this like ul followed by an li times 3. Yeah, and so that just like instantly inserts the thing. And apparently, like, it was pretty easy to get those plugins installed. Like, you just add the name of the plugin to your vimrc and then run plugin install. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, too. Okay, so I'm in my CSS file. Let's create a basic body style. We'll say the, whoa. Width, we'll do 80%. And then margin, 2 M's on top, automatic on the left, 0 on the bottom, automatic margin on the right, I think. Let's take a quick stretch. So this is super interesting. Inside of insert mode, I can't seem to hit the delete key. I don't know if there's something special I have to do. Okay, we're gonna leave my weird syntax highlighting or my weird spacing off. So I've got a body, and oh yeah, let's also add. Oh man, there we go. Font family is sans serif. Okay, let's write it. Open a new tab. We'll start up light server. And we don't have anything just yet, but this is where the, the JavaScript comes into play. We're going to use JavaScript to set the title and set the paragraph. All right, so let's get out of here. Jeez. We're going to now edit our app.js. Oh, we got a link to it too, but let's just do some basic stuff. So we'll say the title will be document.query selector. The element that is the h1. Oh, I give it an ID. But my delete key doesn't work, so I don't know how to do that. DD is for deleting one line. Okay. How do I backspace, though? Let me just Google it real quick. Vim backspace. On some systems, you may experience problem using the backspace or delete keys. This tip discusses the causes and solutions. Backspace works in insert mode, not inserting, but won't delete over line breaks or automatically inserted indentation, or the place where the insert mode started. Set backspace equals 2. Make your backspace work like most other programs. Alternatively, add this to your vimrc. Set backspace, indent, end of line, and start. Let's try that. So let's get out of here. And then we'll vim our vimrc. And we'll add, we'll go insert mode, add that there. Try again. Insert mode. I don't know the command to go to an end of line yet, but does delete work? It does. Nice. Okay. So grab the thing with the ID title and then set its text content to be hello world. And then we'll grab the message, which is going to be document.query selector the element with the ID message, and we'll set message dot text content to be Vim is fun sometimes. Okay, so this is my JavaScript file. Now I need to edit my HTML and bring that in. So let's do at the bottom of the body. Oh man. Okay, so I need to look up the command to insert a new line below, because whenever I do, oh, I'm not in insert mode. Okay. Insert mode, insert new line. Cool. Let's bring in a script. The source is going to be app.js. And we'll close it off. All right. Write it, quit it. And my very first Vim site, we did it! Yay, okay. All right, Amal is giving me some tips on command. Let's try it out. So dd is delete one line. Let's try that. All right, yeah, I think our CSS is messed up right now, so let's fix that. Yeah, because there's this line right there. Okay, I want to delete this. dd, boom, it's gone. Very nice. X is to delete one character. So if I'm not in insert mode and I want to delete this character, boom, it's gone. Very cool. And so I can go back into insert mode and then insert a semicolon. Cool. And then DW is delete word. Oh. So let's say I'm in here and I just want to delete the word serif. Wow. So I just typed DW and I got rid of it. D $ will delete to the end of a line. So let's say my cursor is here and I do D $. Whoa. Oh, I'm in insert mode. Don't want to be in insert mode. But if I do D $, whoa. Can I Control Z? Nope, that stopped the process. So yeah, I want to undo that. So that is insert mode, sans serif. Cool. DW, D $, respect. $sign means end of line. Use O to insert a new line below. Interesting. Yeah, so if I wanted to add a new style, I could press, well, not in insert mode, press O. Now I'm on the next line. Interesting. What other style could I add here? Let's do like background. Yeah, let's do this. Background is black. And then check this out. Exit insert mode, press O. I'm on the next line. And then I'll do color is lime. And then let's make our H1 red. Oh, awesome. Anthony says, what is this witchcraft? And then, okay, U is undo. See, so it's doable. Like, yeah, so let's say I accidentally delete that. Well, yeah, let's say I delete that line. If I press U, undo. Cool. I think just the main thing is you probably, when you're learning Vim, you need a cheat sheet. Like, these are the commands you're going to use all the time. And then eventually those things will become very fluid. Like D, delete a word. D $, delete to the end of the line. O, insert a line below. U, undo. But it's a very different way of coding and thinking about code when you're using Vim, because you can even set up your own keyboard shortcuts too, right? So you have all these things memorized, and then once you have them memorized, you are just a keyboard wizard. Whereas with something like VS Code, there isn't much memorizing. Yeah, I mean, maybe there is kind of, but for me, like, I use the built-in commands to navigate around. So like on a Mac, I think these would be the same commands on Windows, but like command left will go to the end of the line, command right, alt left jumps over words, command up goes all the way to the beginning, command down. So like I find that those for me don't require really any memorizing because they're just directions using the command key. And so that works for me to be able to like navigate pretty quickly. And Julian is saying maybe the fish's name should be Vim. Did I make that an option? I'm curious. Let's do. All right, so Dash is in the lead with 3 votes. Got Fishy with 2 votes, Sushi with 2 votes, Alpha with 2 votes, Underscore with 1 vote. Sanjay has 2 votes. Carbon-based life form. I said it would be CBL for short. Dory. Vim is not an option. I don't know if I'd be opposed to it. I think I would be opposed to it because honestly though, I was able to get a basic website up and running with minimal effort, and I guess the only thing from here is like installing more plugins into Vim because I would like autocomplete and auto suggestion. So like if I'm inside of a JavaScript file, it'll tell me what are the possible things that could be variable names, that kind of thing. And there are plugins that exist to have those things inside of Vim. And Amal is saying he finds Vim less distracting because he's gotten used to thinking in motions to code. So like insert line, go to the end of the line. Whereas I think like the opposite of that is arrow keys with Command and Alt on Mac, and those seem to work for me. A takes you to the end of the line. Let's try that. So my cursor is there. Oh, that put me in insert mode. Maybe you have to set up a custom command for that. Oh, is it the end of a word? No idea. Maybe I have something we're going on. Okay. But we've done it. Let's say hello to Fishy before I end the stream. Here he comes. Oh, not that one. Yeah, look at him. Oh, I do need to adjust this. There we go. Oh, and if you didn't realize, my fish is on he's on the other side of the room, but when I look at my monitor, it looks like I'm looking at him, which is cool. He's a rad fish. Like, he just looks so cool. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I've gotten him to do this, but for betta fish, if you show them their reflection, they flare, like they spin out their fins because they think it's another a betta fish, and they get aggressive towards it. You don't want to do it all the time though, because it could stress it out. I think I might try that real quick. It might be fun to see. Let's do it. Fishy, fishy. So he's hanging out behind the filter. Oh, there he is. Come on over, bud. What do you think of that? He doesn't seem interested. Oh, here he comes. That's a little bit of a flare. All right, buddy. Cool. All right. This has been fun. Thanks for tuning in. I pretty much tried Vim for the first time in my life. Like, so I in a past life, I was a system administrator, so I learned the basics of Vim, like quitting and inserting code because I'd be logged into a remote system, but I've never tried to configure it myself and install plugins, so that was pretty cool. It was a fun time. Okay. And I did that. I did that, and we got that basic syntax highlighting that we wanted from the material dark. Fun times, awesome. I will push all this code up to GitHub. So, and not that you care about the code, but the links, so you can check out the links. Andreas is saying he trained his betta fish to jump out of the water for food. I want to do that. I've seen some YouTube videos where they teach it basic tricks. Like one thing is they made it so that they associated, I think, a pencil with a mirror. So anytime it saw the mirror, saw the pencil, it would actually flare. And then you can get it used to like eating a piece of food off of your finger, and then if you hold it like right above it, it'll jump out to eat it. But I want to do that. Yeah, and then Andreas is saying he got used to it. That's the main thing. Like, I don't want him jumping out because betta fish in the wild, like they'll jump from like one puddle to the next. So I don't want him jumping out of his cage and then like dying because he can't breathe. Though they actually do breathe oxygen. I don't know. Question from Amal. Oh yeah, and let me catch up on the chat real quick. So RV is saying check out Vim Tutor if you want to kill time. So I have heard of it. I have not. Oh, actually, there is one that I have heard of. It's called Vim Adventures. That one's super interesting. Oh, Vim Tutor, is that actually built into Unix? Okay. Yeah, I think you can literally just run Vim Tutor then. Yeah, yeah. So that's just built in on any machine that has Vim, and that will teach you the basic commands inside of Vim. Oh man. But there's also, and actually I'll link to this in the show notes. Vim Adventures. This is a cool little platformer game where you have to use Vim commands to actually navigate through the game. Any key to start. So HJ. Oh, this is one thing I wasn't using. I was using the arrow keys, but HJKL are for moving. How do I navigate? Or what's the point? Let's take a quick stretch. Yeah, and a question from Amal, do I use tmux or screen? I do not. I use the window management of Mac. So like I use iTerm, so if I need multiple terminal windows, I can do Command T for a new window. I think I don't use this often, but I can do splitting horizontally and vertically. So somewhat similar to screen, I get like multiple bash shells in the same window. Honestly though, I'm so used to, so I have a built-in window manager for like put the window over there, or put the window down there, or put the window up there, or put it over there. So one thing I'll do is just open up multiple instances and like kind of do something like that. It's really just what I'm used to, and mainly because I don't spend a lot of time in a Linux terminal. I am on my Mac most of the time. But for those of you out there, if you are interested in them, tmux and screen are a way of basically taking one terminal window and splitting it up into like multiple tabs and being able to switch between them. Okay, check out Vim Adventures. I'll link to that. That is it for today's show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for talking in the chat. I'm not going to name my fish just yet. I'm going to think about it a little bit. Next stream, I will announce what his name is. Vim Adventures. But I am going to be streaming. Sadly, I didn't choose the topic, but I am going to pick from the poll. So tomorrow evening, 8:20 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be doing a longer live stream. If we look at the poll right now, I did do Intro to GraphQL. I do want to do a continuation of that where I actually dive a bit deeper into like connecting to a database or connecting to a REST API. We talked about Redux, done a little bit with Vuex. We could do Docker, but personally, I don't think I'm prepared enough to do a whole live stream on it. I might push that aside a little bit. Some interesting ones. Data visualization with JavaScript. So I could look at various charting libraries and things like D3 or maybe even like P5.js, and we can show like different ways to visualize things with JavaScript. That might actually be pretty fun. And then doing something with Firebase I haven't done on the stream yet, so that might be fun too. Yeah, data visualization, we might do that. That sounds like a good time. But check back. I will update the topic on here, and I'll also announce on Twitter whenever I decide what the stream topic is going to be. But you can check out coding_garden on Twitter. You can follow me. I tweet every time I go live, so you can keep track of that. All right. Julian, one last question. What do I think about Adonis? Don't know if I've heard of it. Is it related to JavaScript or coding? Adonis.js? Oh, microservices. It's a Node.js microservice web framework. Never heard of it, never used it before. They have a pretty website, though. Yeah, I haven't really done anything with microservices or like serverless functions. And I'm also saying it's recommended using GraphQL tools to do the heavy lifting. Cool. Adonis apps are packed with seamless authentication, a SQL ORM, built-in support for internationalization, first-class testing support, written in plain JavaScript. Interesting. It seems like it's like a framework on top of, not on top of Express. They might be their own library altogether, but similar how if you've seen me use Feathers.js before, it has a bunch of things built on top of Express, so you have to do less work and things are kind of just like built in. Cool. But I did say I was going to end the stream like 5 times already, so I'm going to end it now. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You guys are great. Thanks for participating in the chat. Like I said, tomorrow, 8:20 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be doing a live stream, most likely on data visualization in JavaScript. Maybe something else. I'll name my fish then too, so tune in for that. Again, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Wait. A little bit more fishy. Say bye, fishy. He said bye. All right. See you later.